So, as usual, talking about all of this stuff. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And feel free to ask me if you like. Today, I'm going to be going back a little bit to both of those pages 3 that I love. It's called Mushroom. It's kind of an RTS strategy technique, sort of a silly. I really like it. It's fun to wow, that's incredibly loud. Super loud. A little bit. So might not help me with that much. You guys let me know if that is too loud. Turn it down quite a bit, so it hopefully shouldn't be ultra crazy loud. Capture. Change that to a bit capture. Select us. Oh, it's good. The joys of having a 4K monitor. Of having a 4K monitor, everything likes to resize itself all the time. Not totally ideal, but works there. Also, hello to everyone in the chat. Good to see all of you. My name is Grover. Before, we're going to be playing a little bit of much more old school RTS kind of game. I used to enjoy it. It came out on PlayStation Store, I think, originally from Relax Studio. These have these, so it's good. Controller support like it used to be. Sound is still incredibly loud. There we go. As usual, feel free to ask me any questions you guys may have about lots of stuff, or playing magnetic stuff, or headphones. We'll talk about all of that. And also, for those of you who maybe missed it, the stream that we did might sound really low. Okay, let me turn it up. Maybe it's up in here. Hold on a second. Might sound really low. Can't hear me. Okay, hold on.
should be going to 1. All right. How about now, guys? Let me know if you can hear the things that I'm saying. Hopefully, you should be able to hear it, but let me know if you can't hear it. Okay, there we go. Yep, that should be good now. Let me know if you can't hear me, and I will adjust it again. Anyways, also thank you, Musictron, for letting me know, and Poor G Georgie, a little louder. Oh, you want it louder? Like you want it louder than it currently is? Better. Okay, cool. Yeah, it should be plenty loud. I just, I think OBS was... Sometimes OBS is a bit of a struggle. As anyone who's streamed knows well. So anyways, as I was saying before, it's still low. Okay, all right. Well, we can turn it up. Hold on. Let me go into... Oh, it's good now. Okay, all right. Cool. Glad to hear it. Anyways, as I was saying, if you haven't checked out the stream that we did with Headphones.com, the Headphones show, Andrew from Resolve and Tyler, Andrew, who's Resolve Reviews, and Tyler from Headphones.com were there. And we had a fantastic time actually talking about all things headphone related. We talked a lot about EQ, DSP, things like that. Yeah, it's a really interesting episode. I had a lot of fun with those guys. They're very smart. They have a lot of cool, information and are very up to date on what's going on in the headphone community. Definitely check it out. As I mentioned, at headphones.com. Had a great time. Hopefully we'll do more with them. We talked, as I mentioned, about EQ. We also talked about, respective headphone setups. I think one of the more interesting questions that popped up on that stream for me was people asking about, what gear I use, as well as, frequency response and measurements and how measurements relate to the sound of a headphone, which of course has always been a popular topic in the headphone realm. Well, especially recently. There was some good back and forth debate we had about CSDs and how useful those are. I actually hadn't met Tyler before. I knew Andrew Resolve a little bit. But getting to kind of sit down and chat with him a little more in depth was actually pretty nice, since I was not as familiar with his work. So that was quite cool. Great guys all around there. Tyler, definitely after my own heart in terms of someone who prefers less EQ when listening to headphones. Though certainly for something like gaming, anyone who's been on the Penrose stream that we did last week will know that, some of the EQ presets can be pretty cool. Those EQ presets, by the way, I'm going to see about getting up on the page, the Penrose EQ preset page, as soon as I can. We had a Rocket League. We had a Rocket League one, a Warzone one. I believe there was an Escape from Tarkov one, as well as something called Insurgency. Which is a game I've actually never really played that much, but someone in the chat suggested, which was a great suggestion, and is actually got really good audio design. I was very surprised by how good it sounded. This is like one of those crazy all-you-can-eat levels. Oops. Also, for any of those in the chat who might own Odyssey headphones, I'd love to hear what headphones you own and what you listen to on them. What's your setup, DAC amp, things like that. Or if in fact you are an Odyssey owner or user, or if not, because that's of interest as well. And if you are, I'm curious what got you into it, and also what you like, maybe, or find interesting about the headphones, or just what other headphones you have. Oh yeah, so the ATCs I'm using are SCM20s. They're actually the passive version. So they are the largest bookshelf model that they make, but the smallest. You know, they're not the three-ways. They have the mid-range dome, but it's grafted onto the middle bass driver, and I really like them because I prefer the passive to the active. Excuse me, and I like to use my own amplification. I'm using a pair of shit Vidars at the moment as my amplifiers. I personally, the active ATCs sound very good to me, but the passives are a little bit cheaper, and I like the option of being able to use my own amplifiers. Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, yeah, I can do a Ghost of Tsushima preset. I know there was a request also from some people for presets which are not just FPS presets, which is a great request, and we will definitely do some. We did a Rocket League one. I might do an Assassin's Creed preset. I need to get past the tutorial on the PC version of Origins or Odyssey or Valhalla or one of those, because I have not done that yet. But definitely, I know we talked a lot about in the last two streams about FPS games specifically, just because that's kind of a hot topic for a lot of people. But I'm actually not primarily an FPS player myself at this point in my life. So we'll definitely do some RPG ones, some, maybe like a Dark Souls one would be kind of cool, I think. Yeah, we'll do some non-FPS presets, because I think that would be cool. And those games still certainly have excellent audio and benefit from custom, EQ presets, things like that. So anyways, yeah, the ATCs I'm using are SCM20s, the passive version, the studio passive version, with 400 watts of shit amplification. I tend to do a lot on headphones nowadays, just because, not bothering people, since we're all at home in this interesting pandemic world. But I do still get a lot of use out of my monitors, and I really enjoy them. And I'm not doing well. I'm going to restart this one. And they're still a critical part of my process. So, yeah. Also, if you guys have any questions, nice setup. I would definitely recommend using Reveal Plus. I think it's a really cool app. I find it very useful myself when I'm using Audeze headphones for mixing and mastering or production. And it takes a little while to learn them. They present detail and dynamics very differently than some other headphones. And as with any headphone, there's just a learning curve with any transducer, with speakers, with headphones, with anything. There's just going to be a slight learning curve. I think for me, one of the biggest things is learning not to overdo things, and learning how headphones and speakers kind of cross-translate, and what sounds, good on the soundstage of speakers sometimes sounds funky on headphones, and vice versa. So learning those differences and learning to work around those differences can be a challenge sometimes. But just, listen, practice, see how your mixes turn out on other gear, and you'll get the hang of it eventually. Is there a time frame on when the Mac version of Odyssey HQ will release? I don't have one, unfortunately, at the moment. However, for Penrose, yeah. My understanding of that is that the dev team has made that their top priority over anything else. So I, as I mentioned, don't have an exact date on that, but I'm hoping that I have information on that for you soon. I will ask at the next team meeting about that, and we'll put something up either on social if I have any specific information about when that app will release. So I'll try to keep you guys as updated as I possibly can. Video on mixing on headphones. We can do that. That's actually a great, I like that idea quite a lot. And I do mix a lot on headphones, so I have a lot of things to say about it in a variety of senses. But yeah, we can do a video on that. I really like that one. And how do I feel about crossfeed? I like crossfeed if it's done well. So personally, I know, and this came up actually during the stream with headphones.com the other day, and I missed the question in the chat, unfortunately, but I do use the Phonitor Matrix in my Phonitor XE, and I quite like it. To me, it does bring, I use it on a pretty light setting. I don't use a real heavy setting, but it does bring a little something to the sound of the headphones. It kind of makes things a little bit more present, a little less fatiguing, and a little easier to... it's a sense of space, but it's not necessarily like super like holographic in the way that speakers are, like where they come into the room. But it is definitely a slight sense of space, and it also is it gives the treble a slightly more organic or natural feel to it. It's probably a little bit less treble. I am doing terrible, and this is on easy, Jesus. But yeah, I do use it, and I like the crossfeed. How do I feel about it? So yeah, how do I feel about crossfeed? I like it. Yeah. Can Opener VST for crossfeed. I used to use Can Opener. I love the Goodhertz plugins. I actually use PanPot quite a lot because it's very, very good for super realistic panning. But I don't use Can Opener as much anymore. Like I said, since I got the SPL Phonitor, I mainly do use the Matrix crossfeed thingy in that. So, but I like Can Opener quite a lot. And I find that it sounds really nice. One of the things that I personally like about it is that it's not trying to simulate a room, which I think is, I don't want to say a mistake that a lot of softwares make, but it's an entirely more complex set of problems, right? Trying to simulate an entire room in crossfeed or in a VST plugin takes an enormous amount of, first of all, processing power, and second of all, requires a lot of complex filtering and measurements of, said rooms. So to me, there's a big difficulty. The problem with crossfeed is much smaller than the problem that exists with relation to HRTFs and room curves coming into headphones in a way that is realistic sounding enough and accurate sounding enough to be used in any sort of professional setting. So to me, what Can Opener does that succeeds really well is it takes a simpler problem and attempts to solve that. So they basically are saying, what if we had a theoretically perfect frequency response or perfect room and used that as our target curve, used an ideal room as a target curve rather than a real room as a target curve, which has inadequacies and inaccuracies and things like that. So that to me is a simpler problem to solve, and that's part of why Can Opener does so well, because it solves a simpler problem. And so yeah, I use it. I like it. I, as I mentioned, always thought it sounded very clean and detailed because it wasn't trying to do HRTFs and all that other fancy stuff. So yeah, Can Opener definitely gets a thumbs up from me in that regard. I think we can just go and take this probably. Might be wrong. You can also get them from any of our distributors. or retailers. We do have a number of dealers, distributors, and retailers, both in the United States, North America, as well as, yeah, absolutely, Musictron. Happy to be helpful on these streams. And if you have other questions, please feel free to ask. But I'll definitely do a thing about mixing on headphones because I really like that. So yeah, you don't have to just get them on our website. You can also get them from dealers and distributors, especially if you live outside the United States. We have plenty of retailers in Europe and other areas who are going to obviously save you a lot of money on customs, shipping, and things like that. Have we discussed bringing back the gel cushions for Mobius? I don't think so, but I could be mistaken. I don't think those are coming back, though. I'll ask, but I don't think they're coming back. Love the headset upgrades. One thing that I dislike along with others who say the same are these are not nearly as comfortable as other headsets. Any plans for offering upgraded padding for these? I don't know, but I will also ask about that. I know that some people have, I think, swapped out old Mobius gel pads, but that was a little before I joined the company. So I will ask about them, but yeah, I will ask. That's what I have to say about that. Recently I heard about you guys and really want to try the audio. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, unfortunately during normal times, our dealers, distributors, and retailers would be great places to find the product. Unfortunately, at the moment, a lot of them have either more limited hours or are closed. But if there's one that's, safe to go to near you, definitely getting hands-on time with audio products is the best way to determine if they're for you, Folks can talk about how great stuff sounds, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to get your own ears on it to make that determination and to see if, they really work for you. Oh, I have full. Okay. Let's just do this. How did you hear about us out of curiosity, Nakonda? And clutch. How to load presets into the Penrose using a wireless connection with console gaming. So I actually don't know about that yet. I need to look into that because I don't know if we have a way to do that yet. As far as I understand, the Penrose presets are keyed for PC use because they come in a zip file. But I think it's a good idea to obviously make those available so that you can load them up on your phone. I don't know if that's possible because, again, I don't write the software. But I will ask and I will see if we can get the presets in a form that is available to load onto your phone. So yeah. Also, thank you, Peanut Butter Jelly Time. Really appreciate that feedback. Recommend on the YouTube page. Oh, cool. Very cool. Well, welcome to the high-end audio sphere of things. Yeah, we're excited to have you. So if you have any questions about Odyssey stuff, Odyssey.com is a great source of information on the website. I'll also do my best to answer any questions you have about, our tech and our headphones and that kind of thing. So. Yeah, that's also something to experiment with, Porgy Georgie, is how the headphones bounce on your head. So I actually have my headphones one click higher on the left side than I do on the right side because my ears aren't perfectly aligned in the same plane on my head. So I actually find it more comfortable to have them be slightly different on each side, and that makes it quite a bit more comfortable actually on the top of my head. Surprisingly enough, it's not the ear pads I notice as much, it's that the headband sits more evenly on the top of my head when I do that. So something to experiment with certainly is that. 4.4 millimeter bounce cable for my LCD-X. I think Moon Audio might have something. I would check with them because I know they're a retailer for us and I know they do make aftermarket cables or have aftermarket cables available. The 4.4 is still kind of a new format, so I'm not always 100% sure where to get them, but I would check with Moon Audio because I know that they have some aftermarket cables and see if they maybe can help you get a 4.4. Are you plugging the LCDX into a portable, or what are you plugging it into? There is also a small break-in period, as poor G Georgie mentioned, with regards to the headphones. The headband will stretch out a little bit. The ear pad, the cushions on the ear pads will soften a little bit. So those are all things that will help the headphone to just soften up and stretch out a little bit, in my experience. Zancan. Is that in reply to the bounce cable? I know there's a lot of companies out there. Norn Audio is another one that might be able to make a cable. Zancan. Okay, into a Zancan. Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, Norn might have cables. I know Moon Audio makes cables. I'm trying to think who else. ZMF might have cables. Is that like a thing I'm not allowed to say or something on this stream? I don't know. But I know ZMF does make mini XLR cables, so they might have something. I don't think that we have 4.4 Pentacons available at the moment. Okay, yeah, Amazon has a Penrose in stock. Yeah. So if Amazon has them, you can certainly order from Amazon as well. These animations are new. They didn't have these back when I first played it on the PlayStation. 5 minutes. First thing to do, upgrade all buildings. The AI is pretty stupid at these low-level early campaign levels. So we haven't got much of a task in front of us. Are we going to release a newer LCD style boom mic in the style of the Penrose mic? I believe let me ask about that, because that does certainly seem logical. I would expect that we probably will. I don't know the answer to that question at the moment, but let me confirm that for you. It does seem to make sense, certainly. So I will get confirmation on that. But bouncing headphones, I forgot they're my headphones. Oh, awesome. Glad to hear it, poor Georgie. We do try to design our headphones to be things that we would like to use and would like to, use as gamers and audiophiles ourselves. We're not, we do listen to community feedback, and we don't try to make torture devices. Okay. I'm not sure where stock is. You might email support@odyssey.com. Here, I'll drop it in the chat. It's just support@odyssey.com. For some reason, the chat is real slow on me at the moment. But like I said, support@odyssey.com. They will probably have a better idea of who is in stock with what at the moment. So those would be the people to email to see if there's specific stock. Tested the Blackshark V2 Pro, Cloud Arctis 700 to the 3D build division. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for the really kind feedback, Borgie Georgie. We're glad you like them, and yeah, glad you liked them. I love the music in this game. It's really kind of silly, kind of goofy music. Here, I'll turn it up a little bit because I don't think you guys can probably hear it. No, I want the the controller support for this game is. There we go. That should be. I'm going to turn mine down a little bit. It's very loud in this game, the audio. Arctis Pro wireless right now. I don't mind the backorder rate. Okay, yeah. I mean, in that case, that's super. So there's like I said, there's been a little bit of a backorder, but I know we are trying to get on track with having Penrose available as fast as we possibly can. So we are not deaf to those concerns, but retailers may have some Penrose stock. So definitely check retailers and see who has, who may have stuff in stock. Also, as I mentioned, for anyone who's still here, do check out the headphones.com stream that we had yesterday, because it was super cool and really enjoyed it. I actually went back and watched the whole thing again to see what I missed in the chat, and had a fantastic time. Reveal Plus system-wide outside of my DAW on Windows. So what I would say is that there are some VST plugin hosts which will work across Windows. And those, I think, I'm trying to think of ones. I remember there used to be an old one that I used to use, but I don't think it's available anymore. So I would look into that and see if there's a VST host that you can use across your system. That would be my suggestion. Way to alert how much battery life is left. Yes, that is something that we have been looking at with regards to updating in the app, and is functionality that we've heard people on. We've heard that folks want. So we're going to be, I believe, adding that functionality to it. Again, as usual, I need to confirm all of this, but I'm pretty sure that we're working on battery percentage indicators being better. When you hit the power button on PCs, yeah, and you can also see it in the Odyssey HQ app for Penrose. When you have your Penrose selected, it should tell you what battery percentage you're at. Timetable in the iOS app. The Mac app is currently what the dev team is kind of just full steam ahead on, so I don't know what the timetable for an iOS app is. I imagine that it will be, essentially whenever that one is finished. If the AI was smart, they would have taken all my buildings there. But they didn't. Mic test and damn, I'm impressed. Sounds better than the Arctis. Yeah, well, we've tried to tune it to sound really, really good. And coming from more of the hi-fi type world, that is something we're very conscious of. We're very conscious of our reputation of doing high quality sound. And the mic itself is, was designed in partnership with Shure. So they make great microphones, obviously, and we were really excited to try and bring a really high quality mic to the Penrose, to have it be as good as the quality of the quality of the drivers. So, when is the Android app coming? The Android app I thought was already released. Double check if the Odyssey HQ app in the App Store works, because it should work for Penrose. I'm almost 99% sure. There may be an update coming for it, but I think the app is out. Someone might need to fact check me on that one. Yeah, absolutely, Real Chew. I know this one's not maybe as high energy as some of them, but it's been a little bit of a crazy week this week. So we'll have more exciting stuff coming later. This one. Okay, cool. I had a little bit of a heart attack there for a second. But yeah, no, it should be up. I think they're, I mean, we're going to continue updating all the apps with, functionality and feature sets and things like that in response to what people, ask for. But there should be, the Android app should be up. Let's see. Only works with the PlayStation 5, can be added to Penrose. I think that has come up. Let me talk to the team because I know that that's something we've been talking about. I can't remember what we decided or if we made a decision on that. I think the best solution, because there was a specific reason it was assigned that way, but I think it might make the most sense. What might make the most sense is to make it so that some of the buttons on the Penrose are variably assignable, so that you can assign them to different functionality or switch the functionality in terms of how they're assigned. That's something I'm going to need to check on, and hopefully next stream or next week on Monday or Tuesday, I'll have some information for you about that. So I will ask at the next team meeting and see if I can get some resolution on that for you. But that is definitely a concern that we have heard. We are aware that folks are having some issues with that. So, or have requested that. So we're not deaf to those concerns. As I mentioned, I don't know exactly what the status of that is, but I'll try and update you with as much information on that as soon as I can. Andrew was commenting the other day how difficult it is to play the game and also talk and watch the stream and all that at the same time. And he was definitely right. It is an interesting challenge. Would I recommend Odyssey headphones? It depends. What's your budget? What's your use case? What are your tastes? All that kind of thing. I mean, there are some Odyssey headphones that I've owned even before I worked for the company. So yeah, I like them. And certainly I think that they make a good product. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't work for the company if I wasn't, passionate about what they do, and I didn't think it was interesting, and I didn't like the people who worked here with me as well. Well, I say here, I'm at home, but figuratively here. Next firmware update. I don't have a hard date, but for Android, I think there's an update coming soon, and for Mac, like I said, that is the one that's kind of taken priority, and hopefully that one will be out very, very soon. So those are the two things to look forward to. Again, I don't work on the firmware development team myself, so I don't have an exact date, but my best guess would be sometime in the next week or two, maybe 3 weeks tops. Don't quote me on that. Support might say something different. If you want the official response, email support@odyssey.com. But I'm hoping really soon. So I don't have an Android phone either, so I haven't been part of the, I don't want to say beta testing, but bug finding, fixing element of things, necessarily. So that's not necessarily as much my purview. But when there's an iOS app, you'll hear from me right away. because I do have an iPhone. Have any of you played this game before? I'm wondering, because I remember scroll wheels are not so smooth a texture. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I will happily take that feedback back to the team. Less smooth texture on the scroll wheels. Interesting. I think it's great. The sound on Overwatch is very good. It was quite an early Dolby Atmos implementation. So there are some, that are more technologically sophisticated. Yeah. Thank you as well, Porgy Georgie. Thanks for stopping by, tuning in. I mean, we do these to try and, get feedback from you guys and to try and communicate what's going on our end and to keep you guys in the loop. So thank you for stopping by and hopefully helpful. Anyways, Overwatch. Yes, Overwatch is an older Dolby Atmos implementation, which still works, I think, pretty darn good. And I thought the sound with my LCD2s and the Penrose and all the Odyssey headphones that I've tried on that game worked really, really well. The planar magnetic technology also presents a more planar wavefront that hits your ear in a flatter way, whereas a cone driver is a point source. And what that means basically is that the... actually, also, hold on. I forgot to do this. There we go. That's my usual. Now you can see the whole game screen. Not that it really matters. A little frazzled today. But a planar wavefront is going to tend to give your ear a different kind of spatial cue, whereas a point source is going to be like, it's going to sound like the sound is coming very specifically from, the point of the point source of sound, right, from the driver. The planar wavefront is able to trick your ear in a different way. And some people like point source, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. There's some, fantastic headphones and speakers that are made using that technology. But the planar drivers, have both very low distortion and also the benefit of this planar wavefront, which hits your ear as a sort of solid wavefront of sound and allows your ear to better localize sound. And so what I noticed with Overwatch is that, I'm able to hear things with an enormous amount of detail because of the very low distortion, but I'm also able to hear them with very pinpoint accuracy because I'm hearing basically an entire sound field hitting my ear. And the imaging performance and soundstage seem to be much more accurate and much more detailed. So not only can I hear a footstep, I can hear what direction it's coming from. I can also hear, is it around the corner or is it, right behind me? Things like that. So it's pretty specific in its capability to localize sound. And I find that it's a very good experience. So that's just my personal take. Slides along the wheel instead of actually spinning it. Okay. Yeah. That's great feedback, and I'll definitely take that to the team and, let them know. I know that I think there's a slight texture on the wheel, but we can certainly, make it grippier if that's something that might be helpful. Like I said, I will take that feedback back to the team, and we shall look into it. Slight one, but more would be better. Okay. Gotcha. I shall, like I said, I shall take that back to the team at the next team meeting. 2,000 hours in Overwatch. That's a lot of hours in Overwatch. I used to have probably that many hours in Overwatch back in the day. Yeah, but I find them spectacularly good for Overwatch. Oh, I goofed that hard. Yeah, I saw. I recently was on the website for Overwatch 2 the other day, just looking at it, and it looks great. Really excited about it myself as well. So. Oh, thank you. Yeah, have a great night yourself, and really glad to hear from you. And thank you for stopping by. You guys are what makes these streams interesting, and hopefully you found some insight into some interesting topics on it. So stop by. Hello. Oh, hey, Gigabyte. How are you doing? Nice to see you again. I'm losing. I'm playing poorly. Old game called Mushroom Wars, which is. I thought we would switch it up for a little while and play some RTS games instead of the FPS madness that we've been buried in. That was something I noticed on the stream with the Headphone guys. Was that the Headphone show? Was that good? I'm glad to hear it. Was that they people were requesting non-FPS titles. So here we are playing some indie RTS games. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. And sometimes my one of my coworkers, Jaren, who's the kind of marketing person, will stop in as well, and he sometimes has interesting insights. He's a video game composer on the side. Really interesting, cool guy. 1 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays, and 3 p.m. Pacific time on Fridays, barring technical difficulties as we had today. So yeah, those are our usual stream times. But thank you for coming by, Nakonda. Really appreciate it. I was playing the sequel, Mushroom Wars 2 to this, and I quite like it, but something about the art style of this game being a little more cel-shaded and cartoony, like, and the music being a little more, I don't know, electronic in nature, just spoke to me a little bit more. So that's kind of why I chose this one today. I used to be pretty good at this game. Now I'm playing through the campaign on easy. So, as usual, how the mighty have fallen. If you want to try some games with 3D headphones like Hunt Shut Up, you have to set info. Oh, Crickster, yes. Let me check my Steam. I haven't checked my Steam in a long time. So let me take a look at that. I don't know. You may have sent it to Shankar's. We have an Odyssey official Steam library, but I don't know if I have access to that. I'll have to ask for the password. But yes, Hunt Showdown. I remember you were requesting a Hunt Showdown preset. We can definitely look into that for possibly making that preset next stream or something like that. Such catchy music in this game. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Turn it up a little bit. And then turn it down on my end because it is incredibly loud. Gotta love these old indie titles where the sound mixing is just like incredibly obnoxiously loud. And the funny little voice lines in this game. But yeah, Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown is like a weird... It's like in the like bayou and you're being hunted by like creepy monsters and stuff like that, I think. Is that right? Something like that? Oh wow, there's 100 on that tower. That's That could be problematic. Yes, yeah, PvE. Yeah, it's a little bit like that Bigfoot game that came out a while back, I think, right? And it's like a horror FPS type of vibe, very like swamp, Louisiana bayou kind of aesthetic. There was another one that came out too that was a lot of those kinds of games. I feel like were inspired by the Left 4 Dead, where you could play as the zombies, which is kind of a cool competitive first-person PvP with heavy PvE elements from Crytek. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, and Crytek, of course, too, right? I mean, such fantastic, you know, games that they've come out with in the past. Like, some really cool heavy-hitter titles, for sure. Oh, boy. This level is taking a little longer than I anticipated. Oh, wow. I can't believe we've already been streaming for about an hour. So, yeah, if you guys have more questions, let me know sometime in the next half an hour or so. And then after that, as usual, for those who are, you know, so inclined, we do have a... we auto-host Torva, who is one of our... He uses Odyssey headphones for his streaming. He's an exceptional Warzone player. I need to check and see if we're auto-hosting It's Iron and what his schedule is, because I think he also might stream on Fridays or Saturdays as well, and he uses Odyssey headphones as well. And It's Iron, I think, has the most wins of any Warzone player in the world. So very cool that we've got him using Odyssey headphones. He really likes them. Super cool guy. Definitely check out his stream as well if you want to see some just absurd Warzone plays. Torva is really cool because he's got just an absolutely bonkers KD ratio, but also a fantastic Warzone player. So I guess Torva starts at 5 o'clock, I want to say, on Fridays. That's his stream. So if you're a Warzone stream enthusiast, definitely check out Torva's stream because he's got a really stupid KD ratio. And as usual, any Odyssey-related questions or non-Odyssey-related questions, feel free to ask them. I can only promise that I'll do my best to answer the Odyssey-related questions. I don't know if you guys can hear it because I've turned it down a lot because it's a really loud game. But they have funny little voice lines that they say. They're a little like Animal Crossing-esque, and they're like little gibberish voice lines. It's quite a cute, silly little game. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, everyone. It's definitely a Friday. Definitely a Friday. Because I have 100 dudes sitting in this tower not doing anything, huh? Kind of screwed myself, didn't I? Let's try that again. What's the most expensive studio headphone from Odyssey? That would probably be the... I mean, we have people who use the LCD4s. Hannes Bieger from Germany. I think Glenn Schick, who's a mastering engineer, also quite well known, uses LCD4s. So that's a, you know, that's certainly a studio headphone if you want it to be. The LCD4Z can also be a studio headphone. The LCD, you know, MX4, those headphones can all certainly be used in the studio. So, yeah, I would say probably one of the LCD4s are essentially the most expensive studio headphones. LCD4, you know, being 4K MSRP for a new pair, I believe, which is insanely expensive for a pair of headphones. But, you know, if you want the best, there you go. So yeah, I would say that's the most expensive headphone we've made that gets used in studios. It's also just the most expensive headphone we've made, but you know, there's certainly a lot of our LCD line headphones are suitable for use in the studio. Oh, it's turning into a giant mess now. It's a big pile up. That should do it. So yeah, about 15 more minutes. And as usual, feel free to ask any questions. Sorry I'm a little sleepy. It's been a long week. Friday. Looking forward to well, here obviously, right? Looking forward to a nice weekend. This is called Mushroom Wars. It's a game that came out a number of years ago on PlayStation Network. It's a little RTS game. And they have a second one as well. I like the first one just because for me it's a little bit of a nostalgia trip. And also, hello, Gazni. I think I've seen you on some of our streams before. A little bit of a nostalgia trip game for me. It's kind of a fast-paced. We're on some of the early easy levels in the campaign at the moment, but it gets quite a bit more difficult. You start to fight aliens, things like that. It gets pretty cool, pretty wild. But yeah, Mushroom Wars. There's a Mushroom Wars 2. I've just started playing. That one, I think, isn't even particularly new either. It came out in 2017. It does, yeah. It gets pretty intense. Some of the levels get pretty wacky intense. At the very final level, spoilers for anyone who cares, you fight this giant alien UFO that is continually spawning troops, and you have to kind of try and board and take over the UFO before it totally destroys all your villages. So it can get quite intense. These, like I said, these early levels are a little bit more relaxing and chill, but I'm using a controller because it's actually faster to play this game with a controller than I find with a mouse and keyboard, because it was originally designed, I believe, for controller. So yeah, but it's fun. It's quite fun. It's a great party game if you are into playing multiplayer games. I think it has support for up to 4 players, I believe. So definitely a favorite of mine. Are not on Polish marketplaces. I don't know. That's a good question. That is definitely a great question for the support team. Again, support@audeze.com to see if there are retailers near you who may have Odyssey products in stock. That would be where I would go to check and see what the status of that is. So hopefully that's somewhat helpful. Oh, we just have to capture the other star buildings. Well, let's just do it. Sometimes the levels are easier than they seem. Boom. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Oh, no. Well, it ended up being okay. Gotta grab some bases here really quick, because things will get bad fast if we don't. We also can't ignore upgrading our bases, though. Get 'em. Little mushroom troops. Such a weird game. Mushroom Wars. And upgrade. Okay. So this game sometimes in the early levels like this becomes a process of bum rush, and then once you've got enough bases, you pretty much have it in the bag. At the higher difficulty levels, it's actually excuse me, sorry about that. Quite interesting. There's the highest difficulty mode. You can't see how many troops are in enemy bases. So that's the highest difficulty mode in the game, which is makes it totally different. Adds an element of strategy that quite a bit more difficult. I've got a time limit too. Well, might as well just ta-da! There we go. Brilliant RTS player right here. Master StarCraft player. Totally top expert. Whatever. I don't know what these little animations are. I haven't seen these. Ah, the enemies. We have our first alien encounter. These are the aliens, which I don't think you guys have seen before. This is where the game really starts to get pretty tough. The tough thing about the aliens is that they just respawn so quickly. They respawn ultra fast. So it becomes really hectic from this point on in the game. As you can see, though, I think we're doing all right. We've kind of got our foothold here. We need to convert these buildings over into either troop production, or probably what we need to actually do is make that into an armory. We'll take that base over there. Probably put some extra troops over here because it's like our staging base for stuff and things. You can see our guys have little sticks because they've been upgraded. And there we have it, folks. This is like the turning point where the game starts to get really, really hard. Or not, maybe not ultra crazy hard, but like starts to get quite a bit more difficult. You can hear the alien themed music is quite fun. Watching live stream from bed. Nice. Very nice. Nuts. Can we just not? Are we capped at? There we go. Okay, now we're producing troops again. We were, for some reason, not producing troops. How is this Odyssey related exactly? Well, we were answering some questions. Generally, if you have any questions about Odyssey stuff, I'm happy to answer your questions about them. This stream is a little more casual than they typically are. I'm also totally going to lose. Yeah, so, you know, Odyssey related in terms of the game, not so much. But in terms of Q&A, I am available. And, yeah. So, that's more or less the relationship there. Loose, perhaps, but that's what we've got. We'll probably play this last level. I am, like, totally not doing that well. Yeah, and then after this level, we'll probably skedaddle and let you guys, if anyone wants to. Again, Torva has a stream after this, which I would definitely encourage you check out if you're interested in seeing a killer Warzone player go at it. I'm not doing so great on this level. We're gonna lose. All right. Well, that's that. Thanks for everyone who stopped by. And yeah, normally we stream a little higher energy. Apologies about that. On Wednesdays, 1 p.m. PST, and Fridays, 3 p.m. Torva will be streaming at 5 o'clock today, so definitely go check that out. 5 o'clock PST. And for those who didn't see it, I would definitely encourage checking out the stream on the Headphone show. Headphones.com runs a stream. They had me on. We had some really interesting conversations about some cool stuff. And I would encourage you to check it out on their YouTube channel. I'll drop it in the link to the description box for this video after it goes up on YouTube. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody, and hope you have fun, get a chance to relax, and enjoy yourselves. And that'll be all. I'll see you next time.